Hey friends, welcome back to OG Universe. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending some time with me as we take a look at McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Collector's Edition Grid. Oh man, this is a figure I've been highly anticipating for a couple reasons. One, it's damn cool looking. It looks fierce, it's big, chunky, and number two, this is a solution to unfortunately not being able to finish off that Build to Connect Flashpoint Cyborg figure from Target. This was a year-long program where every few months you get a different figure with a piece of Cyborg, and then at the end of the year you got 4 new figures and a really cool looking Cyborg to build and connect. Unfortunately, none of these figures came to Canada, and I was very lucky that I went and had a couple road trips, a business trip, and a friend actually picked one up for me too. So unfortunately, that Flash figure eluded me, and he's very expensive on the aftermarket. So I thought, okay, we got a solution. But before we jump into that, let's take a look at what you got in the packaging. We'll talk about grid and hopefully the solution to a problem that I have. Yes, a big problem. Anyways, let's take a look at the packaging. We got some beautiful artwork here on the back of grid. He's looking very Ultron. I really do like that beautiful artwork. And of course, on the side here, we got that number 29, McFarlane Collector's Edition grid from Forever Evil. And then on the inside, we have the card stand. The card stand made a return with this figure, backed by popular demand. No, I don't think anybody demanded to have a card stand included with this figure, but he's included. And we have a display stand as well, the silver DC logo. Now, grid. I really, really like this figure a lot. There's a couple things about this figure that really set it apart from being what it was, because basically this is a retooling of that Cyborg from Flashpoint. Same arm, brand new hand, some different modifications in the chest. The color, of course, it's a very kind of dull, a little dirty kind of gray with the black. And the head sculpt. This head sculpt is absolutely phenomenal. It is menacing. It is Cyborg T1000, T800, whatever you want, man. It is devastating. It is going to cause pain and destruction. And I think this figure could fit in with a lot of different lines too. I think it could definitely, of course, fit in with our DC Multiverse. Masters of the Universe. I think this would be a great kind of cybernetic science and sorcery kind of villain. And then if you want to go Ninja Turtles, all that kind of stuff. It has so many uses. This is a really versatile figure, but for a DC Multiverse figure, man, it's impressive. It's got some pretty good height and weight to it. Beautiful sculpted details throughout this entire figure. I think it could be just highlighted with a bit of a silver dry brushing. I think some bright silver metallic paint on this figure would just do a world of justice to it, because it is such a phenomenal sculpt. I love this menacing hand, the claw, man, that is powerful. Now, they did one thing here, which I thought was really well done. That effect. They tried to do something like this on the Justice League, Zack Snyder Cyborg, which didn't work out. He had that glowing light coming through his chest. They put some red paint there and it looked terrible. This, it feels like this blaster is charging up and it's about to annihilate you. It is really well done, just bleeding into the circuitry there. That looks fantastic. Man, that is so well done. And you know, I think if you're going to get hit by this blast coming out of this cannon, it's going to hurt. Plus, you got these long protrusions on the end to do some melee damage if you want. But man, this is just a very fun, cool action figure. Now, I did purchase 2 of these for that explicit hope of popping off these legs, repainting them, adding them on, and finishing off my Flashpoint Cyborg. Hopefully that's going to happen. We're going to do some toy shorts. We got to open up those figures. Maybe we'll do a full review of everything, but we'll talk about that later on. So Grid. So Grid comes from the Forever Evil comic book storyline that happened in Justice League Dark. So essentially, this was a virus that was living inside a cyborg that manifested itself, used Cyborg's parts, and built himself a body. He joined forces with the crime syndicate in hopes of just taking over the planet. He is one powerful dude. He can connect to any kind of interface with any kind of electronics. He is definitely a high-level threat, much like Cyborg Superman. But yeah, this is a really impressive action figure. So let's run through some articulation on this guy now. His head sculpt, it is a little bit limited, but he still has some really good articulation. Got side attitude for days, looks down pretty nicely. Can't look up too much, unfortunately, because of this high collar that he has on the back here. But it is very rigid, unfortunately, and it just eliminates articulation going up. Does have really good movement in the ball joint here in the shoulder, bicep cut, single joint in the elbow, excuse me, and he does have articulation in the wrist. The torso is nicely articulated. He can go back, not too bad. Forward, he does have that ball joint at the waist just to give him a little bit extra range of motion. So you can get him in some really cool kind of about to blast into oblivion poses. Very cool. He does have two ratcheted joints here in the hip section, which I'm going to be taking apart in a toy short. I gotta build my cyborg. I gotta build that Flashpoint cyborg. It's so important. And then, of course, we got just a single joint here in the knees. Does have toe articulation, ankle rocker movement, and pivot. But yeah, it's just a big, chunky figure. So the lack of accessories, I think, is kind of due to what the heck are you going to give this guy? For starters, maybe some sort of tentacles coming out of him or something. Maybe a different kind of hand or arm that we could take this arm cammon off and place it on him. That would have been cool. But overall, he is a gigantic figure, and it's making me think a little bit, do I want a cyborg this big? Because I'm going to bring in some figure comparisons, and you're going to see this is one badass giant figure. So, speaking of cyborg, let's bring this guy in and see how they look together. This is the newest incarnation of Cyborg from McFarlane Toys. Not really happy with it. Been thinking about doing toy surgery. The first thing I probably want to do if I want to keep this body buck is get rid of these shoulder pads. I just don't like them. They just look awful. Not a good body buck for this figure. They should have picked something else, but you can get my full opinion in my review on this guy in my DC Multiverse playlist. There are some good things about it, don't get me wrong. Not everything about Cyborg here is negative. There are some positive aspects, but I just expected more for a character that I so desperately wanted to fill out my Titans roster. But still, man, he is still really tiny compared to this. Look at the height difference. Like, it is pretty spectacular that we got such a giant figure. And they didn't charge like mega size figure price for it. It was still regular price, about $35 Canadian if you got an edge card, or $40 if you don't, other retailers. So it's not too bad to get a gigantic figure like this. Cyborg, not too bad, not too bad. And then, of course, I want to bring it in. Yeah, let's bring it in a Superman. Because, this to me doesn't scream Grid. Grid doesn't resonate with me to the point where I'm anticipating getting his action figure. The fact I bought two of them, not because I love Grid, it's because this guy could be someone else in Superman's rogue gallery. I love this comparison. We're going to see an epic battle short between maybe these guys and some other characters, but I just love this big, menacing, hulking robot attacking Metropolis. Metropolis's defender, Superman, comes in. An epic battle ensues. I think this is so damn cool. Really like this. This is one of my favorite Supermans. You see my video on this guy? Action Comics Superman, not Action Comics 1000, but Action Comics Superman. Very iconic, beautiful figure. Amazing cloth wired cape. So damn nice. Love this guy. And then we also want to bring in another kind of drone, maybe. The Manhunter, that Platinum Chase, which was kind of a pain in the ass. This guy should have been a regular release. Even the 2-pack, a 3-pack, different battle damaged heads, extra accessories, weapons, cannons, all that kind of stuff. That what should have been the release for this guy. But can you imagine having an army of these guys led by Grid? That would be so damn cool to see that happen. And if you got enough of those figures, you can do that, definitely. And another figure, who's one of my favorites, Cyborg Superman. These two guys working together, evil plans, evil schemes, concocting to take down Superman, the Justice League. Oh man, the power set these two guys have as a team would be really an epic challenge and an epic battle for the Justice League and the DC universe entirely. But now we've talked about this guy and my thoughts and opinions. I think he is absolutely fantastic. Really strong figure. And if you missed out on that Cyborg Superman or Cyborg Flashpoint Cyborg, I don't think you're missing a lot. 'Cause I think I like this a heck of a lot more in the sense that he's a villain, he's imposing, he's threatening, and they did a really good job retooling a lot of the pieces on this guy to bring a really brand new figure. In my mind, it doesn't go to Grid, it goes to another character, and this is Metallo. Now, we got this figure here, and man, it is, it's sad to say, it's probably one of the worst McFarlane figures that has come out in recent times. I bought this figure because I wanted the Kryptonite pieces, and I do like a couple elements. The sculpt on this guy is pretty damn good, right? The sculpt, it's just the paint. The paint and the casting, the plastic just looks cheap. Feels like a knockoff. And I just want to do a really, just a repaint of this guy to get this horrible look. It feels like a Christmas villain from a Hallmark movie. If Hallmark movies made superhero movies, that's what it looks like, and it's terrible. My goodness. But we're going to do some extensive reworking on this guy. I want to throw some color on him, get rid of that bright fluorescent green, the red, maybe even that gray, and just redo it. I don't even know if I will call him Metallo. I don't know. He'll be like maybe a Lexbot or something. I don't know. But I'm having some feelings, very strong feelings about repainting this guy. The only good really aspect of this figure is the artwork on the back. So if we would have got something classic like this, that could have been a game changer. But instead, we got this absolutely terrible figure. But anyways, if you like that figure, good for you. Hey, enjoy it. This is just my opinion. And there you go. Yeah, very happy with this figure. I cannot express my feelings that, man, it's just fun figure. It's big, chunky, imposing, destructive. He just spawns 1,000 different comic book storylines that run through my head. Epic battles. He is just so much fun. If you see it, I'd pick it up. I'd really definitely consider picking this guy up because he is 100% worth the price of admission, and you're going to have a real good time. Posing this guy with your other action figures, causing all sorts of mayhem. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for indulging in my video here and watching it all the way through. Thank you so much. We're going to have some epic shorts and some battle scenes going on with this guy, so stay tuned for that. And again, I want you all to have the best 2025, and I wish you the absolute best throughout this entire year and moving forward. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you soon.